Welcome back to the 2023 Portland Open presented by Latitude 64. This is an Elite Plus event on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I am so excited to be commentating along with Nathan Queen on the Round 2 Back 9 MPO Chase card.
Yeah, we got to see a good bit of action on that front nine. Some birdies, some bogeys, a little bit of odd double bogey action there on hole 7. And a back 9 that could cause some more trouble out here. Very difficult to attack.
Yeah, absolutely scoring opportunities, but you have to be precise and you have to knock down your putts when you get the opportunities. And this field really packed in.
Yeah, just 3 strokes right now separating our top 10, and opportunities for that to get even tighter before the end of the round.
Hole 10, par 4 at 625 feet. An initial gap with a low ceiling. Mandatory forces you to the right, where there is some out of bounds to the right. A good shot can put you inside 300 feet to the pen, playing uphill and a series of stacked gaps. But overall, a pretty unintimidating green once you've gotten to that point.
Yeah, I like what James did there. Kind of bent his knees, reminding himself to throw low. But a little bit too low on that one.
Yeah, he's incorporated that into his routine. Like, you can see the deliberate intent of staying relaxed. Hannum hits the tree that everybody's aiming at and hoping to miss, and boost right but does stay inbounds. Carter Ahrens using the ceiling. I think that was intended to be a cut roller, which is an option.
Yeah, that looked like a pretty aggressive choice off of the tee, but does catch that low ceiling.
And Lizotte has messed with this cut roller as well. Pushes it to the right. This needs to beat the Mando, which it does, and then continues well up the hill to the left.
Wow, look, you can see the basket up there as he still draws closer. Yeah, he's up in there 150 maybe?
Yeah, just a chip shot incoming. He has done all of the hard work. Ahrens, first to throw his second. Going to play hyzer up the hill. Oh, he's going to play cut roller again, excuse me. And this running out to the left, although it is completely open over there.
Gets a pretty good amount of distance and then comes back a little bit, but should be pretty wide open over there for a little putter hyzer into the basket.
Proctor is going to play the hyzer up the hill. And probably in layup territory, perhaps a jumper if he's looking to score.
Oh, wow. And a very understable roller here from Austin that does eventually stop turning over. He is going to be, well, it looks to be inside circle 2 up there way off to the left side.
Man, he nearly created about the highlight of this entire round.
Yeah, I thought that was going to curl right around for a second.
Ahrens putter hyzer needs to give this the width to stay around the trees and does so successfully.
Yep, nice tap in par.
Those trees in mid C2. And silly little jump putt approach. That's all this hole is if you're Simon Lizotte.
And James with the long, giving it the long look for birdie, but he's also going to be up and down for his par. Austin Hannum, 60 feet.
And nearly does rein it in. So a couple of pars, or 3 pars for the folks who didn't get off the tee, and then the easy birdie for Simon who did. And I expect that's kind of the theme on this hole, Nathan.
Yeah, pretty much. Just about a third of the field taking the birdie, 59% taking the par. So, yep, 1 birdie, 3 pars. We'll move on to hole 11, 345-foot par 3. Really straight gap to hit off of the tee, and then at this point, you're just trying to hope you get past these 4 trees. You can see the basket, so I guess you can say there's a gap, but it feels kind of wild down there at the end.
Simon throws the flat shot, little bit of finish on it, and a nice kiss into circle one. Proctor. I think this is a mid-range. Using a lot of the ceiling, holding straight.
Oh, yeah. And James trying to show me, you said there's a gap. I'm going to throw it straight at that basket, hit that gap.
Yeah, that was framed up in the gap perfectly the whole way. Gatekeeper catch cam.
Beautiful
Turning
tee
around
shot.
a little bit to follow it. And Proctor going to be just outside circle one where he's lived so far today.
And Austin Hannum now has the visual of the line that you'd like to hit. But his comes out a bit late. He's almost able to catch a little flex line over there on the right side.
I think I have seen some players playing for that. Hannum a little bit too high to do so successfully. But there is a lot of open space on the right side and no OB to speak of.
Yeah, only this double mando you see off the tee, which you really... I can't imagine it coming into play at this level. I guess it's possible, though.
Carter Ahrens a pretty good techie shot. Gentle hyzer flip into circle one as well.
This looks good.
Oh, Hannum. Austin nearly ringing it up from deep, deep.
There you go, Carter.
Good stroke for Carter Ahrens, kind of riding the ship. Moves himself to 3 down.
And Simon looking to go back-to-back here after a bit of a scuffle he had there on 7 and 8. Trying to get back under par before you get to the tough back third of this course, those final 6 holes, and he is able to connect there, get his birdie.
Yeah, good glidey nose-up hyzer putt. And Proctor, I guess they put it a little bit out of order, I think. And floats it in nicely.
Yeah, a lot of the times you'll play for speed of play. If everybody's on one side, they'll all putt. Also, his shot was so good, I'm sure none of them expected him to be outside of circle one back there.
Yeah, they might have just assumed he was based. Hole 12, 380 feet. There's a mandatory that forces you to the left, and there is out of bounds on the way right side, and then long left. Options generally are straight backhand fairway up the right side, a flex down the left side with a forehand, or you could go outside with a roller on the left. Simon gonna force over.
Beautiful line.
And flash just past the basket.
Oh.
And bonus roll. I think he's going to turkey.
Gobble, gobble. Looks like James going to try to follow that same line and gets it off nicely. Going to look for that skip. Not quite the tree play that Simon got, but he is inside circle one, and I'm sure he is just as happy as Simon is.
Yeah, you can't be too picky. Carter gonna go with that roller play. And with the tailwind,
Oh my.
things weren't really allowed to flip over. This is testing the out of bounds on the backside, but does curl short of it. Gonna be about 90 feet for his comeback putt. I know that distance. Well, because I made the same mistake.
Yeah, who would have thought we'd see that OB come into play? I certainly never really thought about it.
No, I think when you're trying to cheat the hole and throw the roller around everything, that's the only time you really find it. Hannum gonna play. Oh my goodness, gonna play the forehand skip shot. Nearly flares it in.
Yeah, he's trying to catch metal for the second time this round as he gets a great flex shot off there. Carter with a nice high bid, wanting it to float in, but difficult to do so. He's going to tap in his par.
James Proctor continuing his putting prowess. A little sloppy on the right side, but does stay, moving himself to 4 under, 11 overall, and tied for 6th now. That's what a couple quick birdies does for you. Austin Hannum can't get this one to fall.
Yeah, he's had a couple struggles on the putting green today. He could be a few more strokes under par as Simon Lizotte cards that turkey. Yet again, we get a nice little cart ride up to the 13th tee. Here we are at hole 13, 930-foot par 4. If you'd like to get the birdie, you'd have to throw it about 630 feet to here. And you're going to have 330 feet or so hyzer into the pin. But like most people, you can't throw 630. You're going to want to try to get it out there about 500 or so, have a little chip shot around that corner, so you can then have 300 or 270 or so in to try to collect your par.
Lizotte making
What?
kind of a silly mistake in hitting the first branch,
Oh my goodness.
but he's going to go out of bounds with an angle to potentially get up and down from somewhere around 350, 400 feet. Proctor, I believe this is a pretty old beat destroyer. Going to be throwing air shot to turnover and just continue breaking right. This is nicely done if it holds the height. And
Oh man. We've had 2 people get over there through that tree line. It's pretty thick. I've seen a lot of players hit those trees and not get through and end up OB. But like you said, it's fairly open now that they're over there. You kind of got a hyzer into the basket.
yeah, I think I understand the intent of Proctor's shot a lot better than Simon's. Ahrens correcting nicely. This also is tracking to that right side, but going to come up short of the out of bounds. Should give him a reasonable angle in.
Yeah, I think he might. On one tree, there's some branches that hang down over there on the right side, and Carter might have fallen in just behind that. Gonna put him in, could put him in a difficult little spot with those. Austin, more of the trying to get your par play here. Obviously, he wanted to carry a bit farther, but from here, if you can get down to the bottom, just where he's done there, then you're in a good spot to then get up and down for your par.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not thrilled with the execution, but that's a totally adequate play. Par is a very good score on the difficult 13th. Lizotte into circle 2 with his third, and Proctor with that read going to try to do the same. You see the orange flag on the bottom ripping pretty good. Lower shot. This will need to skip to carry back in bounds. Does so nicely, but also in circle 2. They were pretty far back there.
Yeah, and it's actually not that branch that's in the way for Carter. It's ended up, he's kind of stymied on these trees in here. And that is I'm going to say a young player mistake right there. It is one of the harder holes, so he's wanting to make sure he can get up there. But with the position he was in, didn't have room to swing his arm comfortably and still trying to hit a gap that small. Doesn't matter. He's going to get a par.
Yeah, that looks... UDisc is going to say fairway hit, circle 1, drop in.
And, yeah, he just wanted to lay up a little bit, put himself in a good spot to throw a 380-foot screamer down the fairway.
So, nicely done. We're bagging on you a little bit, Carter. You threw a great tee shot. I think you'll learn a little bit for that second shot next time. Proctor looks like he's going to take a bogey here, take a step backwards. Lizotte to save his par. And a good effort just off the band.
Yeah, gonna put a end to his birdie streak. But what a hole to do it. James ends up and down for his bogey. Austin Hannum on a bit of a par streak, but yet again this hole, that is what you want, as we only saw 2 birdies on the day today. Tuomas and Cody Kirkland. I'm going to skip out on your last name, Tuomas. I apologize, but I don't want to butcher it.
I got to see it. It was a thing of beauty. Nicely done. For most of us, take your par, move on, and live to fight another day on the 14th. A par 3, 465 feet. There's a double mando that forces you into this gap, which is pretty generous. The second level of trees as you run uphill to the basket. A little bit more of a crapshoot. If you're trying to play it completely pure, I think it funnels you to about circle's edge right, which, hey, that's still a pretty good result at this pro level. Tailwind today means you can play a pretty fast disc and know that it's going to finish left.
Carter fading in just left of the gap that's intended, but he ends up with the park job there.
Yeah, one good tree tap and easy putt that time.
Yeah, not many park today, just 3%. That's only 3 people.
Hannum gonna go with the roller. I like the play, gets it under the ceiling, makes the disc skinny as it's coming in, but this is tracking too far left, not gonna get over in time. He'll be somewhere near circle 2's edge.
Yeah, just kind of layup zone over there. Too many trees to really comfortably give that a run, plus the rollaway opportunity.
We've been fooled before, though. I think if you're on this chase card, you go for the highlights sometimes. Simon, this is pulled too far right. Does kick forward, so... What?
I don't... So, if you haven't watched much disc golf, when you hit a tree, you don't kick forward 240 feet. I don't... But there you go. Simon did.
Proctor just playing hyzer into the gap with a flippy disc. I like this because it's pushing so far right and then has the stability on the end.
Yes,
inside the circle.
The intended fairway. We've got a true fairway hit there, and he's inside the circle. Gonna be looking at a fairly easy birdie putt.
Yeah, I think when there's scattered trees, it just asks you to throw hard. But Proctor does it correctly. Hannum does give a little bit at it. We'll take a par.
Yeah, cleaner look than I expected him to have, and James Proctor able to get that bogey back pretty quickly, put himself at 4 under now.
Yeah, good bounce back. Make it easy on himself, but chump status, not even the closest on the card.
Yeah, as Carter Ahrens still has yet to putt. Now he's going to walk up and tap in his birdie and also move to 4 under par.
Pretty sick.
Hole 15, 879-foot par 4. Second hardest hole on the course. To get a birdie, you need to get about this distance. You could be a little bit farther right as well. But about 150-foot gap to hit off of the tee, then you need it to move right. You do have OB left if you get too high in the air and fade out. On that second shot, you saw that OB carry. Most likely going to be 400 foot for most players at a minimum.
For the righty backhand, this is the play. Distance driver thrown to be on hyzer and then flip as it moves through the gap. Carter's made pretty good progress. I imagine with his power level, he should be able to clear the out of bounds on his second, although it will be from over 400.
Yeah, he didn't quite make it to that flat spot that we mentioned in the first round that you really like to get up to if you are that far right. Looks like James may be pushing a little bit more left than Carter did. And also going to be kind of on an upslope, but but is a little bit closer to the basket.
Yeah, you can see the subtle difference in stability there as Proctor's glided out as a slightly slower disc, while Carter was kind of diving into the ground in the headwind.
Yeah.
Hannum showing off that forehand.
And unless he proves me wrong here, which I doubt, that forehand is a play for par. I don't think it's really possible to push far enough right to comfortably have the distance to attack that next shot.
You think that's because even though he threw it nice and high, he's diving into the ground?
Right, yeah, you see now he's absolutely just going to another forehand for a layup shot short of that. You just can't quite get the carry, even though you can push it out straight. What helps you reach this pin is the right movement that you get off of the tee pad.
Mm-hmm.
And diving down instead of carrying, you're not able to get that.
We saw that on hole 4. Austin sticking to his game plan even when everybody else is going aggressive. So
Sweet.
good on him executing his game plan. Good on Simon for an absolute park job on a very challenging and long hole.
Yeah, second hardest hole on the course. You see Carter look like he put about everything into that. I'm not sure we've seen him do that just yet. And he says, Simon, I'm going to do you one better. Put it inside the stand.
Yeah, I would love to see a replay on that because he not only put it on the stand, he jumped off of Simon's disc in the process. That's
The young guns coming up.
yeah, they must be stopped, Nathan. Proctor, oh boy.
Yeah, Proctor is not the young gun, but he did get stopped right there by that OB.
I think the mistake, if you're going to make it, is to ensure that you throw long.
Oh.
And Hannum,
That is absolutely the mistake you cannot make. Playing for par and still left it short on the third shot. He's now going to be putting for a 6.
this is Proctor's 4th. Kind of stop the bleeding. Floaty little approach. And that's the best he could do from that position. Hannum now for his 6, as you noted. Squeaks in.
After a long par stretch, that's got to be a bit deflating. Hopefully he'll be able to bounce back on these next... I guess for this course, these are kind of the attackable holes to finish, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, little dry spell, but go get under par again. Hole 16, 456 feet as a par 3. An initial OB carry that's really not in play. You have to pick this gap that the drone is flying to play a hyzer, or you can play a hyzer flip up the middle. Perhaps something with a little force over. At 456, certainly reachable with a distance driver. For some players, it might be a fairway in order to hold straighter. And a little bit of left to right helps drag that hyzer flip or force over.
Yeah, and it looks like that is dragging on that one off to the right, or pushing it rather. And he's got a little bit of a tree touch and ended up long of the pin. You just throw too far, man.
Yeah, disc down to a mid-range, bud. Simon gonna play more overstable up the right side. I like this play. It does funnel you towards the basket.
Yeah, maybe just a bit more speed on that, and to get that bigger skip. Maybe a bit more height as well. Skipped a little bit too low, but good shot nonetheless. Hit the line well.
Good height from Proctor. Doesn't flip over all the way and gets cut down.
It's what you see a lot on this hole. Trying to give it the height, because you don't get a lot of ground play on that left side where he was at.
Hannum, perhaps a slip on the tee, but gets some right movement. This is going to fade out and will be a putting opportunity with some favorable scooch.
Oh yeah, puts himself inside circle 1. Gets that nice flex shot with really pushing that ceiling the whole time. And James feeling that putt, giving that... Sorry, Carter has found the another basket over there that I guess he knocked over with his tee shot.
Yeah, that seems right. Several places on as Simon knocks down from circle 2, pushing himself to 9 under and back into the top 10.
Yeah, the Gatekeeper rewind here as Simon dead centers that putt.
Yeah. Back-to-back birdies after the bogey on 13. The crew out here for the Portland Open has made some pretty good choices to use some FPO pins as well as tee pads in order to provide a good challenge to them. They didn't anticipate that somebody would find the stashed basket while they were playing this hole.
Yeah, that seemed to be about 550 feet off of the tee pad through some woods back there, so no blaming them for not expecting somebody to find that back there. As Austin Hannum able to make a nice circle 1 putt there to get his birdie, get himself back to even. Carter still long of the basket, putting back for his par, stays at 5 under.
Yeah, and see T2 next to his name. Other folks on the course not quite tearing it up.
No, and hole 17, another opportunity for him to grab a birdie. 430-foot par 3, about 400 feet to carry this OB you see here. Probably playing 410, 415, slightly uphill. Bit of a headwind today.
And you're slightly offset from the basket, so shots need to drag to the right, just as Simon has shown us.
Incredible shot. And as you would imagine, here's that Gatekeeper replay. Drawing that disc over so nicely and just using that mound to slow him down at the end. You can't do it any better than that.
No, absolutely not. Austin Hannum, this is pretty big for his round. Keep the momentum going, but he has left it too far left in the gap and unfortunately gone OB onto the golf green.
Yeah, I was going to say that was probably a good branch because it looked like he fluffed that a little bit and it was going to come up short of clearing, but ends up OB anyway.
Ahrens, this is kind of low and left. Does he have the power to clear? Answer is always yes.
Of course he does. That was moving very quickly. But kind of in a layup zone over there.
Yeah, we'll see how squirrely he is, whether he's checking scores, and with a lot of scores in the clubhouse, 13 is pretty competitive. Proctor, this also fading out towards the left, hits a stake and stays in.
Yeah, we'll say no good luck or bad luck there, as if he wouldn't have hit it, he would have been inbounds, so... Similar result. He'll be inbounds and safe. Probably doesn't know that happened.
Not until now. Good approach by Hannum and responsible layup by Carter.
James trying to give it a bid and gets a good knockdown from the basket there. Able to take a sit. Gonna have a tap in 3. Simon still waiting on everybody else to walk up and tap in his dime of a tee shot for his second turkey of the round. Gobble, gobble.
And hearing some Liba from the crowd. Hole 18, 1107, par 5. There's 4 mandatories on this hole as you pass through a couple of tree lines that separate golf fairways. Roller and backhand turnover are pretty common shots on the first, and then backhand overstable shots on the second. As you go up a couple levels to this far yellow basket that MPO is playing, there is some out of bounds that comes into play, particularly the right side on ambitious second shots. Simon had gone long out of bound, or long missing the mandatory with a roller in round 1. This time opts to go with the backhand, punches in through the first tree line. That sets himself up nicely.
Oh, fantastic. If you can get past that first tree line. it opens up your second shot so much to be able to get past the second tree line because you're only trying to hit one gap. You don't have to try to manipulate through two different gaps that don't line up.
Carter, not quite the height that is desired. And as you noted, will have to stack up a couple of gaps on his second. Proctor back to this flippy driver.
And pushes that straight, excuse me, and is able to get kind of into that tree line just well enough that he's not going to have to deal with it for his second shot. Also going to be in a great position.
Hannum, known to like a roller, but opts to go with the backhand. This is a little bit dangerous as it's starting to fade towards the mandatory tree. I believe he's come up short of it, but will have an adverse angle.
Carter now through that first line, heading towards the second, and catches one, but I don't think it's going to cause him a whole lot of issue as he throws far enough for it to not matter. Just kept him about 40 feet back of where he would have been, but through those trees gives you an opportunity to attack this green.
That forehand for Hannum, a pretty good luxury as he's able to have it flex out. 5 likely in his future. I don't think 4 is going for 4 is going to be a good decision from there. Proctor beats the second mandatory in the fairway, somewhere in the high 3s for his approach.
And Simon's tee shot just in the ideal spot. If he can get below these branches. Oh no.
Wow.
Stays in bounds?
Yeah, pretty big miss from Simon. He hits the mandatory tree and boosts backwards, so probably going to be left with a forehand roller, something to pitch around the corner. But from his tee shot, that counts as a maybe half a stroke lost automatically.
And what an incredible shot from Austin there. He was probably 430 feet, able to hit it and get up there on the green with a forehand.
It's a good thing I'm not caddying for him.
Yeah, you told him to lay that shot up. So Simon in position to get his par now with a good up and down, but with after his tee shot, he's not going to really feel too good about that one.
And Ahrens burns this one into the ground. Proctor, floaty putter or mid-range. This is diving out left, but will stay safe somewhere in circle 2.
Yeah, and kind of an odd mistake to make there. The OB right and long is no more prominent than the OB that he carried over there on the left side. So I guess just a misrelease. I don't think that should have been any danger in his mind there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of nose angle issue as you are throwing relatively uphill. Ahrens with the layup. Going to take a 5 and stick at 13 under for the event.
So James to get back to 4 under par for the round.
What a knockdown and a putting clinic.
He put that up shot just where he wanted to. We take another look at one of James Proctor's putts here on this Gatekeeper rewind as it almost tries to come out the backside there. But it was just too good for that basket to spit that one out.
Yep, such good wrist action. Austin Hannum, this is now for his 4. Be a pretty big bonus. And does convert. Kind of some yo-yo on the back 9 for him, but finishes at 7 down for the event. Still well into the cash.
Yeah, after 7 down the first round, that's not what he was going to be looking for. But nice birdie to finish. Make sure he gets back to even, doesn't card a over par round. Speaking of a nice finish, Drew Gibson throwing in for a 3 from over 300 feet here to card an eagle to finish up his round.
All right, great way to finish. We see Carter Ahrens staying tied for 4th now with a 13 under overall. James Proctor at 11 under. We are halfway home at the Portland Open. There's going to be a cut after round 3. I imagine all these folks are in good position with that, but going to have an excellent card to follow tomorrow. A lot of young talent, and we're going to be moving over to the Glendoveer East course.
Yeah, it should be a layout that you guys saw last year. Lots of players really love the layout, so everybody looking forward to getting over there, and we are looking forward to calling it for you. For Andrew Fish, I'm Nathan Queen, and we'll see you guys out there.